Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the quality of life that is being added to PoE's Endgame because it is going absolutely through the roof. They just keep revealing more and more and more juice, and today really tops it off, my goodness. So I want to go over a few things here. Let's start off with the Stackable, Fragments, and Incubators that they've shown off in a teaser here on Twitter, which just got announced here. So you can see here in the inventory quite clearly here, they have some Scarabs here which stack up to 10, and they also have some Sacrificial Fragments which also stack up to 10, as well as Incubators up to 10 here as well. Now this is a massive deal, massive deal. So when you're trading for Scarabs just by itself, you're trading with other players, you generally have to trade a full inventory of 60 slots just to get 60 of them. Well, those 60 clicks just became 6 clicks. And it actually multiplies out further because you don't have to click all of them out of your tabs and then into another one, and you don't have to click them all into the tabs, etc. So it cuts down on the amount of clicks significantly and makes trading for materials much faster. Awesome. It also means that if you don't have, the fragment tab or something along those lines, you're not going to have whole tabs full of Scarabs and sacrificial fragments and stuff like that, which is great for people who don't have those. So it's going to make everyone much more happy. By a similar token, you have Incubators here, stacking up to 10. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work because, there's obviously so many different item levels of Incubators. I don't know if they're going to stack together or if there's going to be kind of like almost like kind of a general item level to them. That's a bit weird. But those also do stack. A lot of people have quad tabs that they have to just dump Incubators in. That's me. And it's really super annoying, and it makes it not too nice to use them. And there's a lot of friction involved with that system. So they all stack up to 10 now, and that's awesome. But where does this really come into play? Well, when you're doing maps in PoE, one of the most annoying things is having to, set up all of the Scarabs in your inventory so that you can put them in along with the map that you're doing. Because obviously you need to put them all into the slots. It's super annoying, and that's no fun. Now, well, with the stacks here, assuming that it works in the map device, which, I can't see why it wouldn't, you can just dump a stack of 10 of your Scarab or Sacrificial Fragment right into the map device, which means you can sort of preload your map device with the content that you want to do, whether that's some increased quantity, whether that's 10 Aziri runs, or some Scarab effects, or whatever you want to do, and then put your map in as you need it, and just bang, blast some content, which basically reduces the amount of clicking, friction, and annoying just kind of grossness that there is with the mapping system right now, which is absolutely fantastic. It's going to make mapping and endgame mapping and trading much more enjoyable and much more streamlined, which is awesome. Maybe some people will actually think about buying and using Incubators now that they're not so cumbersome. So this is just one of the biggest changes that they could possibly do to make endgame mapping feel a lot better, and they have made it. Also here we see some Scourge Influence. I have no idea what this does. There's not really any clues. You can see this sword. It's either a new base type or it's influence with some sort of Scourgeness. They've got a Pledge of Hands in here. I don't know if that has any Scourge on it. It kind of looks like it does, but this chest piece and map clearly does. So obviously there's some way that the maps are going to be juiced up and the items are going to be juiced up. Who knows what that's going to be though. So let's move on to the next juicy part here. And we're going to talk about the changes to Lab. So Lab, Uber Lab specifically, no longer requires you to complete the map trials. That's right, you don't have to get in there, you don't have to do them anymore, and it is just not going to be a factor anymore. So after you do Merciless Lab, at the end of the story, you can just go straight into Uber Lab as soon as you get an offering, which is going to, cut down some of the really annoying and high friction parts of starting a new league, and you're just going to be able to bang, get your character to maximum power so much faster. And this is really a great change in my opinion. Overall, it's just going to make everything a lot smoother, and you're going to have a much easier time with the power curve of your character because you can have access to Uber Lab, in pretty much whites or yellows, as opposed to some players, waiting until reds to even get it, or maybe maybe not quite that late, but some people do put it off quite a lot. So, you're going to be able to get in there, you're going to be able to do it much faster, and it's going to be a lot easier. Acquiring the offering, you can do the actual trials themselves, but most people are probably just going to buy it. But it also does drop from a lot of league mechanics, like I think it was dropping from, Legion and Blight and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's definitely very easy to access those offerings. And finally here, we do have one more here, and I want to talk about the Zana Mods. So the Zana Mods here are incredibly good for most players just trying to make a bit of currency in the game. It's really, really going to boost the accessibility of farming strategies without the need for scarabs. And the reason for that is just because they just are so strong. All right, let's get into the ones which are really, really powerful here. So the first one here is Breach. Assuming that there is some, semblance of the Breach passives that we know right now still in the game, which you'd have to assume that there is going to be, like Flash Breach. Breach is definitely one of the most powerful mods on this bench, especially, factoring in the new Breach Stone and all sorts of stuff like that. We don't know how that works yet, but there's tons of Breach-related stuff in the new expansion, the Scourge League. So Breach is definitely going to be a strong pick. The Breach uniques are always incredibly strong and incredibly expensive early, specifically the amulets. So Breach is always going to be very, very good. So yeah, Breach, very strong. Most people who can get to that Atlas passive and unlock it are going to be making money off Breach just from the Breach Splinters alone. Next up, we have Essence. So Essence is, after the buff, I think it was in 3.14 or 5, is one of the most powerful ways to craft most items in the game, specifically physical-based weapons. And running Essence has always been profitable, especially with the Essence Atlas passives. Again, we don't know what's happening to them, but overall, Essence running it on the map device is always very good, and you're going to be able to make a lot of bank off of that just from the Essence mod alone. And, leagues which have this mod on the map device are always a very, very good one for making money very simply just from Alch and Go mapping. So super duper good addition there. We have Legion. I don't think Legion is normally this expensive, but it's pretty much a no-brainer, assuming that emblematic Watchstones and the actual Atlas passive stick around, or if there's something similar to that. Legion, again, is going to be a very good pick for, semi-juiced up characters. It's always been a massive money spinner, and, with the buffed Incubators and making them a little bit easier to trade and use, that probably is not going to change either, so it's going to be a very good one. Legion is super duper good. And then, of course, we have Blight. We've seen a new item tease, one which is on an incredibly high power level, which comes from the new Blight Ravaged maps. So there's going to be a massive demand for Blighted maps because Blighted Ravaged maps only drop from Blighted maps. So Blight is also going to be a massive one as well. So there's a whole bunch of content which you have easy access to, which is like frictionless. All you need is Chaos Orbs to run it. And that's going to be a massive, massive incentive to kind of like getting in there, getting out there, and getting currency. And it's going to be super easy. This is one of the best set of Zana mods I've seen in a while. And of course, Beyond is there for the juices, although it's never really been very good for currency generation. So super duper awesome there. And I'm really, really excited to see what comes next. Hope you guys are excited for this massive addition of quality of life and also ease of accessibility of farming strategies that they've done through Zana. And this is pretty much just the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of other stuff that they're adding. It definitely seems like a league not to miss. If 3.14 was they made no changes, in 3.16 they're making all of the changes. So super duper awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.